What is up, everyone? I've decided to jump back on and do my player ratings for the game. Connor's designed a new system to use, and oh, he couldn't have picked a worse game for us to kick off on, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go through the starting 11, give you my scores for them, give you my opinion on how they played, and of course I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section. Do drop a like on the video, and of course hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We are on the way to 146k, which is amazing. Thank you for your continued support. I'm just really angry, as I'm sure you can imagine, at that performance from Liverpool today. It just wasn't good enough against the old enemy. Just don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm running out of anger at this point. I feel like I'm at the point of nearly going insane. But we'll go through the player ratings. Let's start off with Alisson. Difficult one here because didn't really make many saves. I felt like he probably could have done better for the Rashford goal. But ultimately, not really his fault that we were as bad as we were. So I'm going to get Alisson and let him off the hook a little bit with a 5. Let me know what you think. It's difficult to gauge because I don't think he could have done much with the goals. Maybe a bit on Rashford's, but ultimately it wasn't down to him, the reason why we were so poor today. So for him, got to give him a 5. Next up, Trent AlexanderArnold. This is where it starts to go a bit downhill for me. Trent today, I know he's a relaxed dude. I know that he isn't one for really outbursts of emotion, but I'd like to see it occasionally because it would at least let us know he's feeling something. Sometimes you look at him and you just wonder what's going through his head because he just seems to just go along, and that could be a good thing. The fact that he can control his emotion, maybe that's a good thing, but I'd like to see a little outburst at times because today I felt like we were lacking leaders. And he was one of those players that I would have looked to try and get the lads on, to try and spur them on to something. He wasn't there. He wasn't as bad as his counterpart on the opposite side. But for me, Trent AlexanderArnold, 4 today. Not good enough yet again. His crosses weren't on point. Don't know what else to say. I don't want to slag him about his defending, because I think at times today, particularly with Elanga, he did match him up well at times. But ultimately, chances are coming down his side and we need to figure out a way to stop it. We didn't stop it today. We paid the price against the poor United team. Let's move on now to Virgil Van Dijk, Mr. Reliable, the greatest centre half in world football. Not at the minute. Not at the minute, my friends. Yes, his range of passing is still there, but our play is just too predictable, and Virg is guilty of that at times as well. He can spray balls out wide to Mohamed Salah, that's great, but it's not really doing that for us. And the amount of times that I got angry today with himself and Joe Gomez just knocking the ball across the back line like we hadn't got a care in the world, it's not good enough. And defensively, again, we've played 3 games this season and conceded far too many goals, far too easily. We're opened up at times, our offside trap hasn't been working. We praise the offside trap when the lads are doing it well. We say what a great system it is. Today, didn't work yet again. I know he wasn't helped out for the second goal by Jordan Henderson basically giving the ball away in the middle of the park. But we judged the defensive line wrong and it allowed Rashford to score. So Virgil van Dijk, 4. And it's not very often I'm going to give Virgil van Dijk a 4. But he wasn't good enough today. None of them were. Moving on to his centre-back partner, Joe Gomez. The man with a point to prove. The man who signed a new Liverpool contract. Again, not good enough. Joe is a good centre-back, as is Virg. But today, again, conceded 2 goals. It's just not good enough. It's not good enough against that. Because that's not a great Manchester United team. So Joe Gomez is going to be short and sweet. He's going to get a 4, like his centre-back partner. And that's where the generosity stops. Because we move on next to this gentleman, Andy Robertson, somebody who we have correctly lauded over the years, praised him for the great performances he put in, praised him for the work ethic that he's put in, for the assists, but it's all dried up. He looks like a man devoid of confidence at the minute. He continuously cuts inside and slows down our attacks. His crossing hasn't been good enough. It's been aimless. And I don't know what else to say in it, other than I don't know what Jurgen Klopp is watching, and I don't know why it took till the 85th minute for Costas to come on and try and change that game. He should have been on at half time. It was clear. I would have picked Costas before the game. Don't believe me? Go and look at my match preview. I had Costas starting because Robbo just hasn't been at the races. Love the man to bits. His attitude is phenomenal, but he's just not at it at the minute, and we have to acknowledge that, and Klopp has to make a change. So for Robbo today, a 3. and I feel he deserves that 3. We move into midfield. Hendo. Brought in probably because Fabinho hasn't been playing well. Big call by the manager. Didn't pay off. I've never in my life bought into this agenda that Jordan Henderson just passes the ball backwards and sideways. But today, I'm on that bus. I'm on that team. That's all he did. We had no creativity in midfield, but I don't know what Klopp expected. Yes, you can say to me, Craig, we didn't have Thiago, we didn't have a whole host of players available, but this is no surprise to us because we know we're always going to have injuries with the injury-ravaged midfielders that we have. Keita, great all week in training, big point to prove, loves playing against United, injured. I don't believe he's injured, but he wasn't available again. Henderson came in, didn't do a good job. For me, 3 for Henderson today. I heard other content creators were praising his game. I don't know what game they were watching. I thought today he wasn't good enough. None of them were good enough. But he's the leader. He's the captain. No leadership out there on that pitch today. United had their way and had it far too easily. James Milner. Again, a surprise to see him in the midfield today. Klopp has trusted him at the start of this season, and that trust has not been repaid yet again. At times today, in the first half in particular, Milner was our furthest forward midfield player. Milner, not really the most creative player, the furthest forward, while Fabio Carvalho's on the bench getting splinters in his backside. A player who can make stuff happen, who will at least try. Milner ran out of pitch on a couple of occasions trying to get crosses in. James Milner has been a stalwart of our squad, but that's all he should be, a squad player that is in the last year of his deal. James Milner today, like Jordan Henderson, 3, not good enough. Harvey Elliott, a bright spark, a young man still learning his trade, tried, failed, but tried and kept trying. I love his attitude. I love the kid. He will be a great player in the years gone by, and he shouldn't be used as a scapegoat for the senior players because he's still learning his trade. So he'll get a pass because I know he'll be better. But even at that, 5, and I feel like I'm being generous for Harvey because I love him so much and I have that much faith in the young man. Luis Diaz, again, one of the few players I feel that probably came out of that game with a little bit of credit. Like Elliott, he always kept trying, always fought for the ball. Okay, didn't happen from today, gave it away a few times, but he's always battling and he's always fighting, and he shows the spirit that I want in these Liverpool players. So for him today, probably the only one that's getting above a 5. I'm going to give Diaz a 6. Yeah, because I like his attitude, and he didn't hide, and he didn't want the pitch to swallow him up, and he kept going and kept trying and kept plugging away. Ultimately though, to no avail today. Mohamed Salah loves a goal against Manchester United, but today we weren't able to get him into the game enough, and I would really love to see Jurgen Klopp just try him through the centre at one point, particularly today when we knew that we didn't have our new centre forward available. Just put him through the centre and give him a shot, because it's very difficult for him on that right hand side in really tight areas at times to find space. But he did on a couple of occasions, and we've accused him of being greedy at times. Today I felt like he was the other side of it. I felt like he just didn't want to shoot, and I felt like he was almost too generous. So Mohamed Salah today, gonna give Mo a 4. Again, won't be very often I'll give him a score that low because he's an outstanding footballer, but he was as guilty as anyone today of not being at the level required. And now for last up, Mr. Roberto Firmino, my favourite player, the man that I've enjoyed watching at Liverpool more than any other in this Klopp era. But I have to be honest, he's finished at Liverpool. He's finished at the top level. He's finished being able to do what he used to do. And I say that with a really heavy heart because I love the man. But Jurgen Klopp told us he's looking great in training. He's coming back from injury. We're not seeing it on the pitch. He looked lost at times today. He had a couple of swings and missed the ball. He missed the ball. Let me just say that again. He missed the ball. A ball lobbed over to him. He tried to volley it. He missed the ball. That just sums up today for us. And Bobby Firmino, unfortunately, was one of the poorer players. So I'm going to finish up by giving Bobby Firmino a 3. But let me just finish this video properly by saying if I was to give Jurgen Klopp a mark today, it would be 3 as well. Because he was too stubborn in believing things were going to change at half time. I'm aware he had limited options from the bench, but he didn't even try and make best use of those options. He was being let down on the pitch by those players, and he let them at it for the second half. Meanwhile, United were making changes, taking off Elanga to bring on Martial. They were winning. We were losing, but Robertson and Milner continued to play. I don't know what else to say. That's my player ratings. I'm sure we'll have better days ahead. Today wasn't our day. We need to solve it quickly because we've got 2 points from 9, and that's not championship winning form. That's not Champions League form. That's horrendous form, and I'm worried.